Are you sure?
Here's the 30-second lesson on what legends know. Never ask a bride why she's getting married. Don't wear a skirt on a windy day. Deodorant is not a shower. Don't sniff chili flakes. And don't forget, saving is not investing. Legends don't just save, they invest in mutual funds. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
A lot of the discussion until now has been about how many seats will the BJP get. We've been talking about that for a long time. Then we tried to reverse the equation by asking, all right, maybe it's too difficult to estimate or to understand the implications of how many the BJP gets. Let's look at how many the Congress might get, because we had also said, in fact, I had said that in a national interest, that every 10 seats that the Congress party gets above the 52 it got the last time, all those, even any 10 seats will mostly be at the expense of the BJP. So that is one other way of looking at the equation. In this entire debate and discussion, we haven't talked about the so-called others. Because others, we know that we look at the others column on the election results day, not so seriously anymore since we started getting majority governments. However, the others really count, because each one of these parties, 10 parties we are going to list for you, each one of these parties counts for something in their states. Some in more than one state, but something in their states. Each one of these parties also have had a chief minister in the past. There are two exceptions there. One exception is NCP, Sharad Pawar's party, which hasn't had a chief minister as an NCP leader, but it had Sharad Pawar as chief minister when he was in the Congress party. So to that extent, NCP has had a chief minister, the political force that is represented by Sharad Pawar. And the other one of this group that doesn't have a chief minister yet is JJP, that is Jananayak Janata Party in Haryana. That is one of the grandsons of Chaudhry Deve. Again, the party came in very recently. It came up in 2019. It hasn't had enough time. What is it that we are saying about these 10 parties? What we are saying about these 10 parties is that this election is an existential moment for these parties. Because if they don't do well enough in this election, most of these parties will be looking at a real threat of extinction. So what are these three parties? There is a little trick there, because you can actually count these as 10 parties or 12 parties, and I will tell you how. So the 10 parties that we are talking about is, number one, Bahujan Samaj Party. I'm listing it first because it's been a very important party and has ruled India's largest state. Its chief minister has ruled India's largest state, that is Uttar Pradesh, multiple times. Once with a majority of its own, a clear majority of its own from 2007 to 2012. It has always commanded a substantial chunk of votes in Uttar Pradesh. Most importantly, its vote has always been considered transferable. So Bahujan Samaj Party is one. Then we come to Telugu Desam Party, Shiv Sena, Shiromani Akali Dal, then BRS, Bharatiya Rashtra Samiti, JDU, Janata Dal United, INLD, Indian National Lok Dal of Haryana, JJP, I mentioned to you from Haryana. So these are the 10 parties. Once again, BSP, TDP, NCP, BRS, JDU, JDS, Shiv Sena, JJP, INLD, and Shiromani Akali Dal. 10 parties. Why did I say these 10 can be counted as 12 as well? Because Shiv Sena and NCP have now split. So one section each is with the BJP in the Mahayuti, as the coalition is called, and the other section is with the Congress party with the Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi, as that coalition is called. Now, what is happening with these parties? We have to look at the data and see where they are headed. So BSP has been the first victim, the most important victim of the rise of the BJP under Narendra Modi in Uttar Pradesh. So 2014, for the first time, BSP finished with 0 seats in Uttar Pradesh, but it had a vote share of 19.62. Why it did not convert into votes? It's simply because its vote was spread out all over the state. The BSP wins seats in a 3 or 4 way split, if it can get another chunk of votes from another vote bank. In 2014, it was unable to do so. It's not as if it improved its performance going ahead. 2017 assembly election, its vote percentage was again not very different. From 19.6%, it came to 22.2%. Let's say from 20% to 22%. BSP won only 19 seats out of 403 in UP Assembly, and this is the state which they had ruled on their own strength with a full majority between 2007 and 2012. So you can see the party started stagnating at around 20% vote share. Then what happened in 2019 Lok Sabha? That's very instructive, because 2019 Lok Sabha, BSP got into a partnership with Samajwadi Party. So contested much fewer seats, but some vote transfer took place. So it won 10 seats. 10 seats, which is quite substantive in Uttar Pradesh. In fact, it won more seats than its stronger partner then, which is Samajwadi Party, with 19.26% vote share. The vote share remained about the same. So the vote share remained about the same, and then came a further downfall. And for the first time, the party suffered a very large loss of vote share. So 2017 assembly election, it had got just 19 seats, but still retained its 22+% vote share, which is its essential committed vote. In 2022 election, it won only one seat, that is the seat of Rasra, very far away in Balia district. Uma Shankar Singh won that seat. That, people tell me, is almost like he could have won it independently himself. Only one seat was won by BSP, but more importantly, its vote share fell to 12.88%. So from 22%, 22%, which was its default vote share, it has already fallen to about 13%. This time again, it's going on its own. It was believed, in all exit polls after the last assembly election had confirmed something that was building up for some time, that Mayawati's non-Jatav Dalit voters were shifting to the BJP. That became very accelerated in 2022, and it is from that position that BSP is contesting now. If it is not able to up its vote share again to about 20-22%, or if it declines, worse, if it declines further from 12.88% or let's say 13%, you could say that as a big political force, BSP will be looking at a very steep decline. Now, BSP supporters explain this. They said, look, we can throw our resources into this election, we can fight with the BJP, we can risk jail sentences, we can risk the agencies coming after us. For what? We might get 5 seats, 7 seats, 10 seats. With those seats in Lok Sabha, we can make no difference. So we'd rather conserve our resources and we'd rather conserve our resources and we'd rather conserve our resources to fight in the next UP assembly election in 2027, when the BJP will be facing double anti-incumbency. So that could be a rationale, but the fact is that the BSP, out of all our non-Congress, non-BJP parties, is the most important party right now, looking at an existential threat in this election. Telugu Desam Party. Telugu Desam Party this time is an alliance with the BJP in Andhra Pradesh. In the past, TDP has been aligned with the BJP multiple times, also with Congress Party once in Telangana elections of 2018. However, TDP has also been a declining force. It has stayed out of power for too long. Its vote share is quite robust. In fact, if we look at the 2014 assembly elections, then just in the Andhra Pradesh part, because that election was held for the entire state, but the state was split and votes and seats were divided accordingly. So in Andhra Pradesh, in 2014 elections, TDP got 44.9% vote. That's almost 45% vote. 2014 Lok Sabha elections also, it won 15 seats, got 40.5% of the vote. That tells us that TDP has had about a 40% default vote bank in Andhra Pradesh. 2019 Lok Sabha, it won only 3 of the 25 seats in Andhra Pradesh, but its vote share was still about 40%. Yet again, in 2019 assembly elections, it won just 23 seats, nothing. It got wiped out by YSRCP, yet retained It's 39% plus votes. So what is it telling us? It's telling us that Telugu Desam party has now been out of power for many years now. But at the same time, it has so far been able to maintain its vote share at almost 40%. However, Chandrababu Naidu, the leader, is not getting younger, and his son Nara Lokesh is there as his successor. So, if they win this election, if they are able to defeat YSRCP, particularly in partnership with the BJP, then they have a good future. That will be a revival, a renewal, and rebirth of Telugu Desam Party. But if they fail to do so, then to keep this party cohesive will become a struggle. Because the question is the old one: how long can you maintain cohesion in a purely regional party with no ideology, without the adhesive of power? And that is the challenge that TDP faces now. Staying in the same neighborhood, we come to BRS, that is KCR's party. It used to be TRS, where T stood for Telangana, and then at one point the leader got a bit delusional, if I may say so, and thought he could become a national leader. Now it's a bit of a stretch to imagine becoming a national leader with a state that only sends a maximum of 17 MPs to Lok Sabha. But in politics, everybody dreams and everybody has ambition. That somehow did not work for him. So let's see what's been happening with him. If you look at 2014 Lok Sabha elections, 34.67% of the vote. We are again dividing from Andhra to Telangana. 2019, 41.3% of the vote. 11 seats in 2014, 9 seats in 2019. So far, so good. 2014 Assembly, 63 seats with about 35% of the vote. Again, very good because the House is only 119, so 63 gave him a majority. 2018, he was actually on the up. His vote share went up from 34% to about 47%. It was a sweep, and he got 88 seats in a House of 119. What's happened to him now? 2023 Assembly elections, his vote share fell to 37.3%. Now, the vote share hasn't fallen that much. In fact, this vote share is a little bit higher than what it was in 2014. But his seats in the State Assembly have fallen from 88 to 39, and that's how he lost power. Since he lost power, his people started leaving him. Many of them have gone to the BJP, some have gone to the Congress party, some defections had started even before the elections. He's become very reclusive. KCR has become very reclusive. His daughter is in jail on the liquor scam charges. So his party is in real trouble. Right now, they don't have an ally. They are contesting this election. And from all the data you are getting, chances are that a lot of their voters have shifted to the BJP. So the BJP has been growing in the state mostly at BRS's expense. And that's why BRS is a party among all of these parties that looks particularly endangered. It looks as endangered, in fact, I would say even more endangered than the BSP, because BSP has an ideology, BSP has had a committed voter base, and BSP has a direct, sharp appeal to a large enough demographic in Uttar Pradesh. BRS no longer has it, and BRS has succession issues and also cohesion issues. And many of the same issues also apply to JDU in Bihar, although they are on the winning side right now. Nitish Kumar, Palturam as he's called because he moves from one to the other all the time, he's now with the BJP. That gives him strength, right? At the same time, his own party, his own strength, that is JDU, that's been declining. And every election tells us that by himself, he doesn't count for that much because he does not have such a large vote bank. He fought 2014 Lok Sabha by himself, got 2 seats with about 16% vote. 2019 election, he fought it in partnership with the BJP, and lo and behold, what happened? He got 16 seats, although his vote share only went to 21.81%. What had happened was because of seat sharing, a lot of the BJP vote got transferred. He contested fewer seats and the strike rate was much higher. So from 2, he went to 16, now in partnership with the BJP. And then see what happened. 2015 elections, state elections, he was in partnership with RJD and the Congress party, right? So he's been on both sides. He was in partnership with Lalu Yadav's RJD and the Congress party in what was called Mahagathbandhan. Again, kept his vote share at about the same, about 17%, but now got 71 seats 2020, however, he went for the state elections again for Vidhan Sabha, now in partnership with the BJP. His vote share fell a little, but not that much, right? Just about 15.5%, and he got only 43 seats. So even in partnership with the BJP, his seats and his vote share have been declining. He himself has no successor. There's a lot of negative buzz because of the shifts he has made. If he does well this time, which essentially means if the BJP is again, Narendra Modi is again able to transfer a lot of his votes to his candidates because he's got a lot of seats to contest in Bihar as before, then his party might have a future. Otherwise, we might see his party declining and maybe ultimately his people going to the BJP and merging there, or maybe some going towards RJD as well. Remember, Bihar is going to have its state election just next year in 2025. Now, if JDU is a party that has given India one chief minister more than once, several times, Nitish Kumar has mostly held the chief ministership, barring short break, since 2005, right, for a long time. There is JDS. JDS is a smaller party in Karnataka, but if JDU has given us one chief minister several times, JDS has given us a prime minister, that is H.D. Deve Gowda, and a chief minister twice, that is Deve Gowda's son, Kumaraswamy. It's a tiny family-run party. Tiny family-run party. And we've talked often enough about how the Gowda dynasty is even bigger than the extended Gandhi dynasty. That is, if we take the extended Nehru Gandhi dynasty, including people 2 generations before this one, and also people who've gone to the other side, that is Menka Gandhi and Varun Gandhi. Gowda family has more than that many who've held public office. If you just look at the state assembly, Karnataka State Assembly, 2018, JDS got 18.4% of the vote with 37 seats. 37 seats in a house of 224. However, JDS has specialized in using leverage for power. So with just 37 seats, they went to the Congress party because nobody had got a majority. BJP had fallen short of majority, saying, you want to keep the BJP out of power? I'll be chief minister. I will join hands with you, but I will be chief minister. H.D. Kumaraswamy, Deve Gowda's son, had done this earlier also. In that case, he had the smaller number, but he went to the BJP, which had the larger number of MLAs, and said, look, you want to form a government, I will come with you, but you let me be chief minister. Not very different from what his father had done. His father had very few MPs, in fact, but in 1996, when all the other parties, anti-BJP parties, got together to keep the BJP out of power and set up a secular front, he was chosen as the prime minister. In fact, he has said sometimes that he made a mistake by becoming prime minister. In his autobiography, which has been penned by journalist Sugata Srinivas Raju, he tells us of an incident where he fell at the feet of Jyoti Basu, who was then the strongman, CPM strongman and chief minister in West Bengal. He fell at his feet, he says, and requested him not to make him prime minister. He said, I don't want to become prime minister. I want to continue to be a long-serving chief minister like you. But you know what? Power is very tempting. So he became prime minister. In the process, looks like his party got weakened. In fact, his son, Kumaraswamy, said in a Walk the Talk interview with me later that my father actually, sir, made a big mistake by becoming prime minister because we ignored our party in the state. The fact is, the party has been weakening in the state, and every innings in power was a leveraged buyout by the Gowda family, has weakened the party. And that's what happened to the party after 2018 as well. 2023 assembly elections, just about 14% vote share. So vote share is declining. Only 19 seats. So vote share, assembly seats have both been declining. And that's why they've gone as partners with the BJP now, contesting only 3 seats. On top of this, they have the Prajwal Revanna crisis, and he's contesting one of those 3 seats. So of all the 10 parties that we listed here, which have given us chief ministers, or maybe more than chief ministers, this is the party that seems to be in the biggest threat of extinction right now. Maharashtra is our second largest state by way of contribution to the national parliament. UP sends 80 MPs, Maharashtra sends 48. Now, Maharashtra politics, while the Congress and the BJP keep fighting, they both have had very strong allies. The BJP has had Shiv Sena in the past, the Congress party has always had NCP. What's happened, as we know, both Shiv Sena and NCP have now split. So for both sets of these factions, that is why these become not two parties but four parties. Two with the Congress party and two with the BJP, the factions of two factions of NCP and two factions of Shiv Sena. For all four of these, this election will be make or break. So any side that does poorly, any faction that does poorly will either end up merging with the bigger partner or crossing over and going to the other side. For example, if the Congress party or the Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi does really poorly, then chances might be that many of Sharad Pawar's people will move over to the other side and say, look, this is the real NCP. We made a mistake by going with Sharad Pawar. Similarly, if BJP's allies in this election do poorly, whether it's Shiv Sena, Shinde Shiv Sena, or Ajit Pawar's NCP, those fellows will say, listen, we made a big mistake by coming on this side. We are better off being with the original because our leaders are there, our founders are there, our leaders are there, and our voters recognize those as the real Shiv Sena and the real NCP. It doesn't matter what the election commission says. So either way, at the end of this election, two of the four parties, it will be the end of the road. That's an important point, isn't it? And now we shift north. We've looked at the heartland, we've looked at the south in detail, and let's shift north. So Punjab, the Akali Dal has ruled Punjab multiple times under Prakash Singh Badal, and with his son being his deputy. He leads the party now. Now that party is looking at a very troubled future, in fact a very dire future. See what's been happening to them. 2014 Lok Sabha, they were partners with the BJP, 26% vote, 4 seats out of 13, very good, not bad at all. In a state where the BJP did not do so well. 2019, still partners with the BJP. By this time, BJP looks like it was even more unpopular in Punjab. But Akali Dal still maintained its 27% vote, but got only 2 seats. Why? Because by this time, Aam Aadmi Party had also grown in the state and vote was split multiple ways. It wasn't just split between the SAD, BJP combined and Congress. It was SAD, BJP combined, Congress and Aam Aadmi Party. So there was a 3-way split. They maintained their vote share in partnership with BJP, but the seats came to 2. See, however, the assembly elections, 2017 assembly elections, they participated with the BJP. In partnership with BJP, got wiped out. The Congress party did very well. They got 25% vote share, the same vote share, but just 15 seats. Why? Because Aam Aadmi Party had now come in and they got a large number of seats, although they were well short of the halfway mark, so Congress got power. 2022 assembly elections, Aam Aadmi Party swept. Congress was a distant second. Akali Dal got just 3 seats, and most importantly, for the first time, Akali Dal's vote share fell before 25. So Akali Dal's vote share came to about 18%. This election, again, Akali Dal is contesting by itself. And unless they show remarkable improvement, looks like they might also be looking at the end of the road and being reduced to some kind of a very local religious party which has its power rooted only in its control of the Shiromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee. So once again, Shiromani Akali Dal, if it has to have a future, has to look at partners and has to look at politics beyond a purely religious appeal. That is broad-basing its politics. It's going to be a very big challenge unless they go back to the BJP's embrace. I always used to say that the Shiv Sena and the Akali Dal are the BJP's natural partners. Both have split. Shiv Sena might have some future in one faction or the other because one faction with the founders has gone to the other side. Akali Dal has no such options. So at the end of this election, June 4 onwards, they will have to make some really hard choices. And finally, since we are talking about Punjab, can we forget Haryana? So in Haryana, we have 2 parties. So I might have said 1.5 party because one party only came into being just about 5 years ago. That is the JJP. JJP was founded by Dushyant Chautala, the great-grandson of Chaudhry Devilal. INLD, which was Chaudhry Devilal's party. Look at its state right now. INLD, the party founded by Chaudhry Devilal, again Chief Minister of Haryana more than once and also Deputy Prime Minister of India. He represented that kind of power in national politics. His party got just 2 Lok Sabha seats in 2014 with about 24% vote share, so healthy. Again, 2014 assembly elections and Haryana assembly and Lok Sabha elections take place in the same year. 19 seats, so not that many seats because in Haryana the halfway mark is 46. 19 seats with 24% vote share, so the vote share remained intact. And then what happened? In Lok Sabha elections of 2019, what happened to INLD? It got 0 seat, that's all right, but its vote share became 1.89%. That's less than 2%. Why? Because the party had split and one of the great grandsons had taken away the party's voter base, that was JJP. So INLD, the original, was now left with less than 2% vote share. This also got repeated in the assembly elections subsequently, where the party won 1 seat but got only 2.5% vote share. So that is a party really on the skids. In this election, again, if you look around, if you see all the data, doesn't look like they can make much impact in Lok Sabha. In any case, coming assembly election probably will look like the last fight of INLD, that is Chaudhry Devilal and Om Prakash Chautala's party. And once again, there'll be trouble for JJP as well, which is the last party we are talking about in this group. JJP only came into being in 2019 elections, Lok Sabha elections. It did contest, but didn't count for very much, just 5% vote. But even 5% vote was 3 times higher than the parents' vote or the great-grandparents' vote, that is INLD's vote. But more importantly, the same year in the assembly election, it got 10 seats with a vote share of about 15%. Vote share of about 15%. Remember, the great-grandparent INLD only got 2.5% and 10 seats. The important thing is these 10 seats came with a great deal of leverage. Because in Haryana, the halfway mark is 46. The BJP, the incumbent, had fallen short of the majority mark. He had his 10 seats, and with those 10 seats, he could have given BJP power. So using that leverage, he became deputy chief minister and he got more than twice as many portfolios under his belt than the number of MLAs that his party had. Now, I keep using the word leverage in politics, leveraged buyouts, leveraged acquisitions. This is as good a definition of leverage in politics as you can find anywhere. I have 10 MLAs. Without those 10 MLAs, you might have 30 plus, but without my 10 MLAs, you can't get power. And if you get power, you have to give me this much. So he used that. However, he's now broken up with the BJP and unlikely that he will do brilliantly in Lok Sabha, because Lok Sabha is going to be a straight fight between the BJP and the Congress party. Coming assembly elections will again determine whether his party will survive as a political force in the state, the only state where it might have some presence, or it will go into extinction. So this is our list of 10 plus 2. We said plus 2 because of those two splits in Shiv Sena and NCP. This concludes our list of 10 plus 2 parties, 2 because of those factions of Shiv Sena and NCP, who are looking at this election as decisive in their history. That's why this is an existential election for these 12 parties.